don't do anything, just as was said before, that you can't undo. Like glue something, like stick a piece of masking tape inside the skirt of the dress to say who wore it. That's just not a very good idea. In terms of textiles, you have to remember that there were some garments that were made that were never ever designed or never supposed to be washed or cleaned, really. That's why they had pretty solid underwear back then, because they washed the underwear, but they hung up the dress or aired it or whatever. And so keep that in mind. It may be impossible to get the spot out. That's not such a bad thing if you can save the entire dress. So sometimes I think I have a kind of a compulsion to want to clean everything. I have to just go back to it. I just can't do it. So, most of the damage that happens to textiles, though, is because of improper handling. And so if you are going to handle historic fabrics or textiles, wear gloves if you can. But the main thing is to just wash your hands very frequently and take your rings off, take your watch off, bracelets, push up your sleeves. If you've got a t-shirt or something with sequins on it, take that off, because you could very easily hook any of these things on a piece of lace, on a button, on a bead, and before you know it, you've got a tear there that wasn't there before. You're going to feel really terrible about that. If you're going to pick up something, see if you can't get both arms under it and support it in both arms, at least. Put it on a tray, keep it in the box when you move it, and then have a plan in mind where you're going to work on these things. Like a big long table is the best. Even if you can't have a table, lay it out on the clean floor, lay a sheet down on the floor, and carefully lay your garment out on there so that you can really get a good look at it. You've got room to move around it, and you can look at it, and it's not going to hurt anything lying there on the floor. It's not going to slide off. Another good hint is to put the cat in the other room. Doing this at home. Pay attention to things on any garment, like loose buttons, open hook and eye fasteners that may have gotten caught in lace or a little piece on the side where it shouldn't be. Zippers that are open or have caught in the fabric. Any pins that may be holding a seam together or a hem, or they're holding a little silk flower onto the hat or onto the garment. Those things you need to take care of first. So remove any pins or staples that you find. This would include any hat pins and stuff like that. Anything like that, I think we all realize that even though something is on a shelf, it's not moving, it is moving. It's just moving just a little bit all the time. Eventually a pin will rip a bigger hole, and they will rust usually. Safety pins are that way as well. Since you're dealing with your own possession, you can definitely tighten a loose button with white or silk thread, white cotton or silk thread. And you don't need to do major re-sewing on it, but just give it a couple of wraps and that'll hold that button in place. If there's a seam that's a little bit loose, you can very gently repair that seam on your own. That's an excellent time to take the gloves off, because I can't tell you how many times I've tried to do a little sewing. We sew little cotton bits of cotton tape inside a garment to put a number on it. And we sew it to a seam or something. I can't tell you the number of times I've tried to do it with gloves on, and I sew my glove to the garment, and then I have to start all over. So take the gloves off for that. Handling of wood craft should be limited and done very carefully. It's preferred that you wear these
fancy little white cotton gloves, as you've all seen, whenever possible, because our skins do contain oils and salts, and they're present on everybody's skin, no matter who you are. We all have them. It's just an inherent nature of our bodies. And these can cause real permanent damage to photographs. And I understand everybody lives in the real world, and how many of you own a pair of these? Okay, yeah. Well, good for you. That's good.
Does it count if we like sweeping them with lotion?
Oh, bad.
So it is the same ones for your kitchen?
No, I don't think so. So if you decide not to use the cotton gloves and go that route, like we've said before, just make sure that your hands are clean and that they're dry, that they have no lotions on them, liquids or food residue. These can do, these just leave horrible fingerprints on your images when you handle them, and then they're just really beyond belief. And when you do handle photographs when you don't have gloves on, it's best to reach around the edges of the photographs, and just handle them that way. And, a great idea is to just lay them out flat on a table. Everybody can come look at it instead of everybody in the family having to grab all the photographs from Mary Jo's wedding, So that's a really good idea to do too. And beyond the fingerprints, another reason to not handle everything so frequently is that, like Matt was saying, there's the rips and the tears and the fraying edges and things like that that can occur with too frequent handling. Now we all store photographs, and we do this all in a variety of ways, I'm sure. There's scrapbooks, there's photo books, there's boxes in your basement, your attic, your garage, there's closets under the beds, and in desk storage. There's a lot of ways that we store photographs. But paper sleeves, such as this, and then plastic sleeves, which I don't have an example of, but you get the idea, I'm sure. Same thing, only see-through. That is what's recommended as proper housing for photographs. Paper sleeves like this are great because they're opaque, therefore they don't let the light come through. But one downside of being opaque is that you can't see the image. So you have to take photograph out, put photograph back, take photograph out, put photograph back. So you're handling the photograph repeatedly, which, as we've all mentioned, is not a good idea. So, and another great thing about these is that they're porous, and so they kind of act as a barrier for any moisture that could get in, so they're helpful that way. So there's positives and negatives to that. And then if you do decide to go with transparent sleeves, the plastic ones, it's great because they are transparent. You can see it, so you're going to have to go in and out with your photograph, and you are eliminating a lot of handling, unnecessary handling of the artifact. But plastic is non-porous, so sometimes in certain plastics it can trap moisture and your photographs can stick to the plastic. And also, plastic can have static electricity buildup, which, as you know, traps dust and dirt and particles like that, and then that can abrade your images, creating scratches on it. And they're pretty much there forever to do that. So I think it's a toss-up, though, between paper and plastic. It's like going to the grocery store. Do you want paper? Do you want plastic? You have to decide for yourself. I've kind of given you the pros and the cons of both sides of both projects. So you just need to determine what your needs are and which one will best suit you. And let's see what else. Like Arlette, for instance, with all of her photographs and her collection at the museum, she uses mostly plastic. In mine at the Homestay Mining Company, I use paper stuff. It's just a personal preference. No big deal. They're both good. But if you decide to go the plastic route, there are a variety of plastic products out there, and some are acceptable and some are not acceptable. And I think we've been over this, but acceptable is polyester, polypropylene, polyethylene, and unacceptable would be polyvinyl chloride, which we know is PVC. And that, like Arlette said, has a lot of gases in it, which they emit and can cause a breakdown of the emulsion layer, which is basically the image in the photograph. So try to stay away from that.